Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back to Fat Cat Collections. I'm gonna word this video that this is another one of the videos I promised you guys for X number of days to Christmas. For Invicta. I said I was going to do the 25 days of Invicta. I did it last year, but fortunately I got a late start. So right now we're probably going to do maybe the 10 days of Invicta. But I did want to share with you guys another Invicta, of course. This is one that I did review in the past, but I wanted to come back and review it. Remember, as YouTube influencers, as YouTubers, we are really, unless you have an enormous channel, which hopefully someday, right? But you know, a lot of these videos are dependent upon other videos, other YouTubers, YouTube suggesting your videos. You know, unless you have a keyword that's really well searched, which Invicta watches are, but there is a lot of competition out there. And so a lot of times you'll put up a video and for whatever reason, you'll have one Invicta video that gets 50,000 views. It just keeps getting views. And then you have another Invicta video that maybe only gets 500. It just maybe fell by the wayside for whatever reason. So this is one of those watches that I got, I'd probably say maybe a year, 2 years ago. It's an Invicta that's on a silicone strap. Sometimes I call this poly. I believe this one is silicone. You can get. Well, let me just. So here it is, another badass Sea Hunter. I just want to point this out too. This flops around when you don't lock it down. There's been some nasty other YouTubers out there who did a review of the Sea Hunter and they're like, oh, this is, they just can't really admit to the fact that the quality is amazing for the money. So they're like, this thing doesn't, yeah, all you do is just press it, lock it down. That's it. Some of these watches did actually have a screw-down crown. This is one that does not have a screw-down crown, which is why, they made the price more affordable. Overall, I mean, unless you're going to be going diving with it and you're using it around, I mean, it still has water resistance even without screw-down crown or function pushers, but, I think I paid like $138 for this. And I've always been kind of against polyurethane or silicone straps. I don't know about the longevity. I've seen guys, I've had one Sterling watch, never worn, sitting in my watch box, went to pick it up like a year later and the watch band split right in half. So I don't know if these dry out. I'm not sure if there's a way to keep these conditioned. I always feel comfortable if a strap has, well, I always feel more comfortable, and the reason I smell this because isofrane straps, they actually inject in their mold and whatever material it is, it's called isofrane, vanilla scent. So all their straps have a vanilla scent to them permanently, which is crazy. So this actually sort of does, but I don't think this is isofrane. I think this is just standard silicone. So again, I've had it for a while now. I mean, I don't wear this one all that much. And the reason I wanted it was just because it did have the white strap. And I wanted something that was very summery, very white and light. And I thought this color combination was really great, or is really great. It's done in kind of like a flame, what Invicta calls like a furnace blue around the case. It's a brushed finish. You have these lugs on the inside of the band. Of course, that theme is taken right on top of the bezel. And you have kind of like this, I would say, it's like not black, but more like a dark gunmetal in a brush finish. Same thing with the crown and function pushers. This is a quartz watch. I believe this is powered by one of the Ronda movements, but I don't know what it is offhand. I didn't pull up the specs for it, but I will in a second. It's just a great looking piece, and if you like Sea Hunters, which I do, it's one of Invicta's biggest watches. Some knucklehead the other day on Facebook was like, I posted a new Shaq watch, and he's all like, I was like, one of the biggest watches Invicta makes. He's like, no, not the biggest. I'm like, yeah, I know. Invicta makes 70mm watches. Well, yeah, Invicta does not, I guess that's half right. Invicta, you can say Invicta makes 70mm watches, but the standard for measuring a watch is bezel measurement. So Invicta does not make any 70mm bezel measurement watches, but this watch does measure 70 if we take it all the way from the edge of the case out to the function or the crown protector. That's 70mm. The bezel itself is about 58. So keep that in mind. If you're looking at the new Shaq watch, if you haven't checked out my video on that, check it out. That watch is massive. And that watch measures a true 60mm at the bezel. So I know 2 mils doesn't seem like all that much, but it makes a difference, especially with the design of the watch, because on that watch, it's more face, less case, so the watch has the appearance that it's even bigger. Don't get me wrong, this is still a giant timepiece. And again, I think the blue, white, and gunmetal is a really interesting look. They did make this one in a mid-size, and they made it in a kind of a rose gold and white, which is a great looking piece as well, 50 millimeter. But you know, if you're going with a Sea Hunter, you know, you go big or go home. This is one of the biggest watches Invicta makes. Now that Shaq is signed on with Invicta, you're seeing again a lot more larger timepieces coming out by Invicta. But the Sea Hunter is a timeless classic. They really knocked it out of the park when they redesigned this. With the bezel and adding the crown protector. The original ones did not have a crown protector, and the bezel was rubber coated. I have one in rose tone and silver, baby blue mother of pearl face. It's nice, but it's nowhere near, I don't like it anywhere near as much as the Gen 2s. Now, they're called Gen 2s by Invicta. Now, I know, obviously, a company, you'd be like, oh, well, they're right. Well, technically, in my opinion, they're not right. Invicta did a Gen 2 already with the Sea Hunter. They came out with the original design with the rubber bezel and the lack of crown protector. Then they did a second one, which was like it was on a rubber or silicone or leather strap. It just had like a shark on it. It was very basic watch. And that technically they still called Sea Hunter. So you can't come back and say, oh, well, you know, this is the Sea Hunter in addition, now this is Gen 2. It doesn't make any sense. So they did have the original Sea Hunter. They came out with another one. They called Sea Hunter. Maybe they shouldn't have done that, but they did call it Sea Hunter. Then they came out with the redesigned bezel. And this, they really knocked it out of the park with this design. Adding that crown protector, it just made the watch, just that one addition, made the watch feel so much larger, and it was already a huge watch. And of course, adding that gear-edged bezel, it's very aggressive, it's very construction-like. It's just a huge, chunky bezel. This is a great watch. Again, 58 millimeters at the bezel, 70 millimeters over the crown protector. I love the fact they got that dope furnace blue propeller. Everything about this watch is just cool. I absolutely love this color combo, even though it doesn't get a lot of wrist time. Now, this is a watch I think that would look fantastic. If you added a blue strap to it, you could almost call it like a blue label at that point. It's just a great piece, guys. And I'll give you a model number here, and we'll see what's available here. We'll do this together. So this one is a limited edition piece. I like when Invicta, though. You guys know I love the brand, but... And not just Invicta, but when brands are like limited edition, 1,000 watches is a lot. I know as far as like, you know, the world is concerned, maybe not, but 1,000 watches is still a lot. I always figure like limited edition, 500 or less, and I feel like Aragon tends to do that with their limited edition pieces. But nonetheless, $999. Mine is number 313. So pretty nice piece. Let me just go ahead and check the model number for you guys. It does have 200 meters of water resistance. Again, stainless steel. Swiss movement, again, take that with a grain of salt. Swiss movements, Rondas, they classify Swiss. This watch is not made in Switzerland. Like most watches you see that say Swiss made, doesn't mean they're made in Switzerland. Again, remember guys, we don't live, this isn't 100 years ago, right? We watch manufacturing across the board. That's why cars, great comparison is cars. Cars back in the day, more expensive cars were more reliable. Less expensive cars were not. Nowadays, your Kias are as reliable as any, in most cases, more reliable than your $80,000 Jag or Mercedes-Benz. So manufacturing, everything's gotten better. So just keep that in mind. You know, there's a reason why with manufacturing, like when you buy a car, there's a reason why when you get a brand new car from the factory, that computerized robot painted paint lasts the lifetime of the car, but yet when you get it repainted from your normal mom and pop body shop, handmade, never seems to be the same quality, right? There's a reason for that. Machines do it better. So just keep that in mind. And I don't mean to overgeneralize. I don't mean across the board, but as a good rule of thumb. So just keep that in mind. Let's take a look at what is available though. 23721, and I'll show you what it looks like on the wrist. 23721. I feel like this is going to be a harder one to find. Let's see here. 21 Invicta. Let's see. And if I didn't mention it was a Jason Taylor edition, or is a Jason Taylor edition. Let's see what they got on eBay. No. And this is what I find interesting about guys when they're like, oh, you'll never get your money back from Invicta. So 23721 Invicta is not available anywhere on eBay. That says a lot. Let me just look at, there's a site called Georgia Mountain Watches. Let's see what they got. Yeah, not available as well. they have it, but price is at 0. It's really weird though. It says, and I've heard this company reviewed before. I don't know anything about Georgia Mountain watches. I know I've seen like Tommy Big Time recommend Georgia Mountain watches, but I don't know anything about them. I don't know, I haven't heard too many people talk about them, but I always find a good indication of a website's reliability or a company's reliability is how they maintain their website. I feel, when I see that this watch is listed here, but it just shows price 0 but 7 in stock, doesn't make any sense to me. So we'll just say it's not available there. And let's see, Shop HQ, let's see what they have. I highly doubt they're going to have this either. Yeah, so it's all sold out everywhere. So last price on this was $639 on Shop HQ. This is the kind of watch. Oh, here's the Shop HQ as is. Let's see, maybe they got an old one. Nope, sold out as well. Very popular watch. It's going to be a hard one to find, guys. So I know when I review a watch, I always like you to be able to buy it. But let's see, World of Watches. And I'll put links in the description of this video to anywhere this might be available or any place you might try and look. They don't have the blue, but they have the black and gold variation, which to me the color combination is really what makes this watch. But it is available for $271 from World of Watches. You may like that one, but I feel like right now with Invicta stores, again, remember, link in description. The prices on some of the Sea Hunters right now, every year Invicta kind of has like a great deals on specific models, and I don't remember what it was last year. I think last year I picked up a couple Grand Octanes. They were in the $138 price range. They had a couple Noma 5s. I kicked myself I didn't get. This year it seems like there's a lot of Sea Hunters. The tinted crystal variations. They have some of the abalone editions, and the prices are great. They're under $200. So anytime you get a reserve level timepiece by Invicta for under $300, you're getting a very fair price. So with that being said, again, links are in the description if anything's available. I will try to hunt a little more in depth, and if there's anything there, it's in description. So, but let's go ahead and throw it on the wrist. So this is a huge chunky piece. Only downside to buying a watch by Invicta with a silicone strap is that if you ever do have a problem and need to replace the strap, it's not easy to find watch bands with this kind of lugs. And this is to be said with a lot of the Invicta watches with the large lugs. It's not easy to find watch bands in this size, and you tend to pay more for them. Let me tell you, if you have to go back to Invicta to get a watch band, only downside to the brand, you're going to pay a lot. You're going to probably pay more than the watch was. So let me just check the lug width on that just to make sure. Yeah, so on this here, we're looking at looks like 30 millimeters. That's a huge lug. You're not going to find a lot with this. So that's why I always go with the bracelet. Metal, you're not going to mess up. It's not going to break. It's not going to wear out. It's very durable. But, like I said, with the white, I just had to have it. So let's check it out. So I have a 7-inch wrist. I weigh about 180, and I've been gaining weight. I've been hitting the pull-ups and push-ups and the home workouts. But and I like to eat. So I'm about 182 today. I fluctuate between 175 and 180. Who knows where I'll go with this. So I like to be down about 160, but that takes me to be extremely strict on my diet. But we'll see. But anyway, you get an idea. I'm not a big guy. I'm about, like I said, 5'7". With my weight, everybody's body's a little bit different. But this is what it looks like on a 7-inch wrist. So take that for what it's worth, guys. The reason I'm kind of drawing a little bit of a blank is I get a lot of questions from people, and they're like, "Oh, are you the same size as me?" And a lot of dudes, everybody has a different idea of what's considered. I'm a big guy. You have to be a big guy to wear Invicta watches, and that's not really true. You can wear Invicta watches. You don't have to be big. I don't consider myself a big guy. Obviously, I'm not a bodybuilder or anything like that. I work out a little bit. I try to find the balance in life. 7-inch wrist, I would say, is probably an average size wrist. Height-wise, probably, I don't know what the average height is, but I'd say it's probably about 5'8". Maybe I'm a little shorter than that. With my boots on, about 5'9", so that works. But, this is what the watch is going to look like on a guy my size, my height, my weight. I seem to think that there's a balance between like, I think a lot of times when you look at a guy who's 180-ish, 190, depends on where you carry your weight. You know, I feel like with me personally, based on my own opinion myself, trying not to brag here, I feel like I have a little bit more muscle. I'm not fat. Naturally, I have some fat around my midsection, but for my size, you know, I don't know. You guys got to make up your own judgment here as far as whether you think that, you know, I'm a skinny dude, or I'd say I'm about an average guy. If we look at, like, statistics, or, like, what's considered normal here, we'll just use my new scale by Renfo, right? My scale, it senses what your body fat percentage is. So I'm about 17% based on what the scale says. 5'7", remember, 183 pounds. You be the judge on how this might look like on you. If you were, you know, guys who are, if I was 180 pounds ripped, I'd be a pretty muscular guy at 180 for this height. So it just depends. Everybody's body's different, but it'll give you a good idea of what this might look like on a guy your size, your height, your weight. But remember, the point of this rambling on is that you can wear a watch if you're 5'2". I mean, you can wear, I see ladies rocking huge watches. It always comes down to wearing what makes you feel comfortable and wearing what ultimately makes you happy. And if you have to think, oh, well, people are going to look at me funny, then you should probably just wear a basic watch and blend in. If you want to stand out, you want to, you know, however, whether you think standing out is, whether you're getting attention from people, whether it's negative or you're getting attention that's positive. And I got to tell you, in the real world, people are pretty positive, you know, or at least if they are negative, they're not saying anything to your face. So just keep that in mind. Remember, always do what makes you ultimately happy, and any attention that you get is good. You know, if people, one guy commented the other day, he's like, if haters aren't hating, you ain't doing it right. And so you're doing something right if people are taking time out of their day to notice you, talk about you. You're probably not doing that to them. You know, if you want to blend in and, you know, not have anybody even notice you, then there's nothing wrong with that. By all means, you don't wear this watch. But if you want to stand out, if you want something that's just over the top, look at the size of that beef. And what's cool about this too, with that white face, it really makes the watch appear even larger. It is just a tank. And so again, with all that rambling on, guys, and what I'm trying to say to you guys is be confident, be kind, wear what you want. You know, you don't have to appease anybody. All that matters is how you feel about yourself, and how you, when you look in the mirror, what you feel about yourself when you leave the house every day. You don't have to worry about other people, you know. Like I said, one dude was like, oh man, what do you know, don't people think if you wear like leather pants, don't they think like you're gay? First of all, there's nothing wrong with being gay. I am straight, you know, but I do what I like. I wear what I like. I don't really give a shit who likes it, who doesn't like it. And if you do feel that, if you feel like, oh well, I don't. First of all, if you wear something and you think somebody might perceive you to be something else, you have to ask yourself, well, why is that a problem for you? You know, like why? What was that, some negative thing? If people think you're gay, or people think you're you know, white or blue or purple or whatever, whatever. If somebody looks at you and judges you, that's just a judgmental person. It doesn't really matter. So they're meaningless. They're worried more about what you're doing and less of what they should be doing. So remember, guys, it's always about doing what makes you happy, and fuck the rest, you know. So, and this watch is definitely a fuck the rest kind of watch. Alright, guys, well, sometimes these videos ramble on a little longer. I hope you enjoyed the watch. I hope you enjoyed the video. If I can help you guys in any way whatsoever, don't hesitate to ask. Drop me a comment, drop me an email. If you like the content, subscribe, but do click the bell to be notified anytime I upload a new video. That's the only way you know. And like I said, if you're looking for a watch, you're on the hunt for something, drop me a comment. I'm always happy to help you. I love doing this. I love sharing these products with you guys. And all I can say is keep wearing your Invictas and stay tuned for more.